How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. And today I'm doing something I haven't done before. Today I'm copying a list that was taken to great success by a world champion, Fernando. Now, I'm not really much of a follower of the tournament scene. You're very rarely going to see me cover decks that did well, but this one really stood out to me. Because we're in a meta right now so dominated by Dragapult and Gardevoir, it is absolutely wild to me to see Blissey EX of all things take second. And I've been wanting to cook with Blissey EX for a long time now. This thumbnail has been in my back pocket for about 2 months now. So I took Fernando's list, but if you want a one-for-one recreation of the list, you have other YouTubers who can do that for you. This channel is all about deck building, and I strongly discourage anyone from copying any list 60 for 60. What works for me will not be the same as what works for you. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. If a chef tells you there's only one right way to cook a meal, get them out of the kitchen. So let's start with the easy part. Blissey EX is a 300 HP stage 1 with a Happy Switch ability, which lets you move a basic energy from one Pokemon to another. Then for 3 colorless, hits for 180 and allows you to draw to 6. We paired this with 4 Munkidori because Blissey is so big and tanky that we can effectively bench a ton of these guys and start happy switching a single dark energy between a couple Munkidoris and get that damage off without having to energize each one individually. So let me first show you Fernando's list before I make any changes. He's got a Cornerstone Ogerpon teched in as well as a Roaring Moon EX, and both of these make a ton of sense in here. Since we already play a ton of dark energy, we can just easily move them onto the Roaring Moon and get a massive KO. And if they can't return KO, that 200 damage we did to ourselves can just be moved off with Munkidori. Cornerstone Ogerpon is a great wall against a ton of decks, and it can even be an attacker in here since we do run 2 Fighting Energy. The way he built it was a Precious Trolley build, so a ton of deck space was put in here to make sure we can get Arven on turn 1. This deck is so dependent on going second, and you'll see that here with the 4 Arven count, the 4 Pokégear, and the 2 Turbo Energize. You see the vision here. We want Arven for the Trolley and the TM so that we can get everything set up really early. Ideally, we would end the turn with at least 2 Chanseys and 4 Munkidoris early on, and 3 Energies in play. Because any deck that has at least 3 Munkidoris energized and ready to go is basically unstoppable, isn't it? Now, that's not to say that there's no counterplays to this. Obviously, Oko decks are very scary. Goldango can almost always get the energy it needs for an Oko, and Bolt really only needs 5 energy in play to get it done too. No deck is built to beat everything. But when I ran this deck, I seemed to have a lot of trouble finding the energy. I know we played 10 of them, but it really felt like I was struggling to get one to put in play. So I did make a couple changes to increase my consistency. For one, I cut the Pokégears down to 2. That's just personal preference. I don't really like relying on it too heavily, so I'd much rather save that space for something like Crispin, who can get me 2 energies and immediately put them in play. Since we have 3 different kinds of energy anyway, it makes it a lot easier to get an attack off with Blissey early in the game, because I find that I often struggle to get a turn 2 attack off, which just feels really bad. I took out the Town Store stadiums and replaced them with Artisan. Personally, I think a lot of decks like going second right now because of Budu, and I think that putting all of our chips into going second, getting the Precious Trolley, getting the Arven, getting the TM Turbo, is a little too risky. So I just want to have a failsafe just in case any of those scenarios goes wrong, and I think Artisan is a slower way to set up, but it's also Budu proof, and because so many decks now run Budu, I would sacrifice a super consistent turn 1 going second for something that I can use going first, or something that I can use on turn 2 if I just got item locked. Naturally, that means that Precious Trolley becomes a little bit redundant, so I'm changing that too. Instead, I'm going with Hero's Cape, which serves to make Blissey EX a biblically accurate powerhouse of a Pokemon with 400 HP. Do you remember back in the Diamond and Pearl days when you get a super effective hit on Blissey and it would take like 30 seconds for that health to drop to 0 because of how much HP this thing has? We're doing that. 100 more HP means that a Goldango needs 8 energies discarded for the Oko, and Bolt needs 6, which is just 1 extra card compared to a Rigid Band, but remember we are also healing off damage. A lot of things can't hit 400 HP in one go. Dragapult can do it in 2 hits, but if we're healing that damage off, that's now 3 hits it needs to take out 1 Pokemon. And all the while, we are using our attack to draw more cards. And the last thing I did was drop 1 boss for a missed energy. The reason why is because Roaring Moon and Devo. We are built to be very tanky, but Roaring Moon, which has been popping up in a couple of decks recently, including this one and new versions of Ancient Box, does not care about our HP value. If it's got 400 HP, it still one-shots us. While missed energy can't be moved around, it is pretty nice to have on hand in my opinion. And that's really it. Everything else has been kept exactly the same. It really doesn't take a whole lot to change the identity of this deck and is something I'm more comfortable running. The Trolley build doesn't work for me personally. I would much rather lean into Blissey's tankiness, but if you prefer a consistent opener, do that. I can't stress enough, your 60 cards should be a reflection of how you like to play. So now we're at the part of the show where I hyperfixate on one aspect of the meta and talk about how we do against that particular thing. I just briefly talked about Oko decks, which we absolutely do struggle with. But let me talk about tanking as a whole for a bit. So let's assume we have 400 HP with the Hero's Cape, and have 3 of our Munkidoris on the bench, meaning effectively we can move 90 damage per turn, right? So how does the meta do against something like that? Obviously we have to start with Dragapult. It basically does 260 damage in a turn, 200 to the active, and 60 somewhere else. So let's assume they put that on a Munkidori. So we could move 30 off the active and the other 60 from the Munkidori, since we really don't assume that our Blissey is surviving 3 turns. But we ourselves do 180. So all we need to do is hit for 180, move 90 damage off during that same turn, and the next turn just do 50 more from Munkidori and we're golden. We played 3 boss, so we could easily just boss up the next one and get it started. We only really need to get 1 hit off with Return to get that Pult ready for a KO. Gardevoir is also popping off, taking a bunch of recent tournaments, and while Guardy itself only hits for 190, its big heavy hitter is the Drifloon, which can do 30 damage for each damage counter on it. So with a Bravery Charm, we are taking up to 330, plus whatever could be moved off with Munkidori. So let's assume they absolutely pop off and get 2 Munkidoris off and still get 110 damage on that Drifloon. They still just barely miss the KO by 10 damage. After which we can come in with our Munkidori and move off a little damage and get the KO there. And then start taking out the next thing. There is nothing in this list that can one-shot us, meaning Munkidori would go absolutely crazy in here. Our Caledon is interesting because its damage caps out at 260 with a Binding Mochi. So assuming they run a poison package and can get the poison off and a Perilous Jungle, that's still 290 damage in total, which wouldn't even KO a Blissey without the Hero's Cape. But if we did have Hero's Cape, Brubonnet has 180 HP with a capsule attached, and setting up a second one can be a little bit difficult for them because of the amount that they mill themselves on turn 1. There's a decent chance that they would mill out a capsule and then just be struggling to find a new one, which would shut down a good chunk of their strategy. So they probably could take out your Blissey on the following turn, but if you have a second one, they'll be doing 190 damage from their attack since your second one probably has a Rigid Band on it, and then you can push 90 of that damage off to something else, and then, oh wait, they do another 190 damage and miss the KO by 10. The math is kind of perfect on this one. But those are the big 3 I wanted to cover. I'd already mentioned the Oko decks, probably not winning those. I think it would be better to take this into the ladder and see it for ourselves, shall we? Okay, got Tails. We don't want to go first, we want to go second. And we mulligan again. Alright, got 2 monkeys this time, that's not bad. And a Nest Ball. Okay. This is much better. We can work with this. Oh, Joltik Pucks. That's fun. Alrighty, let's see. We get 1 extra dark energy off of that. That's not bad. Starts Ogerpon. That's not a half bad call. In a Joltik. Dang, he's popping off. Good lord. That's a great turn 1 for him. Bench that one, Teal Danzig, get another card out, and you end with 5 cards in hand on turn 1 going first. That's strong. That's strong. Look at that. Ends with 4 energy at play. It didn't even get to use Joltik's main gimmick. That is quite good. Alright, so let's go ahead and Munkidori. Let's get Nest Ball. Get our Chansey up. Gonna want to Arven. Let's go ahead and... We already have the Turbo Energize. Wait, we don't. I don't think we do. No, we don't. We're gonna want to Turbo Energize, and I think I want another Nest Ball. Yep, We'll do that. We'll do this. We prized 2 of our Munkidoris. That's not ideal. And then go ahead and turbo energize this. All right, that's good. Got the Jenny, got 1 electric onto the Joltik. Decent chance we might get item locked here if he can evolve that into a Galvantula, but he's not going to. He's just going to Jolting Charge. Where's it all going? I like Gardevoir being good again. I just don't like that that for me at least it's hard to play. But then again, I haven't updated my list at all since I changed for rotation 2 weeks before. Yeah, I think Guardy is kind of... I think it's still good. I think that it's... People are still figuring out the best way to play it right now. I think there's a couple of good ways to do it, but, you know, until people nail down that one definitive way to play it, you're still going to see that same kind of thing. Alright, so I say we do this. Ultra Ball away those 2, grab us the Blissey so we can at least guarantee it before we Iono. Alright, EXP share. Gonna have to remove that and then put that in the active. And then we'll just happy switch the other one over. Research, okay. Why not? Let's draw 1 more. Alright, there's one of our monkeys, that's good. This Ogerpon can do a decent amount of damage to us, but it's 120 plus 90 on our side, that's 210 damage that it can do to us right now. We definitely want to be careful with this Fulgurite. No, I don't see them using it like that though. Alright, 210, that's fine. Not a huge deal. Alright, so I think definitely what I want to do is Crispin. Grab both of these. We'll do 30 off of this so that we can one-shot it. We'll happy switch that over. We'll do it again. This one I think I want it on... I think I want it on this guy. All right, we've got our other Munkidori. All right, we're cooking. We're doing pretty well right now. Decent chance he knocks our Blissey this turn. But we have a second one that... Yeah, that's fine. We'll do this. put up the last one. Let's Arven. I think I'd rather do Ultra Ball than the Night Stretcher. Just because I want to thin this out a little bit. Can get rid of this one. Okay. Return from 180. He gets 210, which is, you know, just barely missing it. But if he hits us back, which I don't think he'll be able to knock out the active with anything he's got right now, we should be okay. I don't really think it matters what he hits us with. I think we're okay. Alright, switches that into the active. He's going to hit us with a, what, 220? Yeah, that's not too bad. Alright. So the obvious play is obvious. We're going to go ahead and hit that. Choose 2 prize cards, and then we're just going to boss the Shelmet. That's GG. Very nice, very nice. Alrighty, welcome back. I'm not sure which game number this is, but I am doing it offline now, just because I had to go in the middle of last stream. And so I didn't want to just jump on for a game or two to finish off the video. But all good. We're refreshed. We are brand new. Just did a practice match right before this where I went up against a Goldango. I actually beat the Goldango. But that was more a reflection of that player than it was about this deck. So I definitely feel like we shouldn't have won that if we were playing, oh god, Lugia EX and Hearth Flame Mask Ogerpon. Okay, this is fun. I'm excited. The other day I got a comment saying like how I only ever play against like Mickey Mouse decks, which is very hurtful, by the way. But look, I just play whatever happens on the ladder, alright? If that happens to be a Mickey Mouse deck, then that's just the luck of the draw, you know? Alright, I think we do this. I think I'm going to switch you to the active. I'm going to Crispin. Get a Psychic and a Dark in play. Let's get the Dark in hand. Yeah, let's do that. Psychic there. And then we'll use Lucky Attachment to get another energy on. But I kind of want it on the active. No, let's be safe. Let's be safe. Let's put it on the bench. Oh, Volcanion. Oh, this is a burn package, or some sort of burn package. Oh, with Kangaskhan. Interesting. I'm willing to hear it out. Let's hear it out. Alright, losing Munkidori is going to feel pretty bad, but I think we have to do that. We have no choice. Going to discard those two, get the Blissey. attach Happy Switch the Psychic, and then do 180, get 6 brand new cards. That is one thing I really like about this deck. It's got a built-in draw engine into the attack. Love it. Okay, we're in a good spot. And he passed without attacking. Okay, let's get the Artisan. Would like another Chansey. Start putting some more energy on the board. I don't want to give him anything new. I think we can Night Stretcher for another monkey. And I think we just research this away. Get us a bunch of new cards. Rigid Band on you. Rescue Board on you. Solid. That's solid. Why, yes, I would like to draw more cards. Alright, Lugia's out. Very good start against this Mickey Mouse deck. Don't think there's a whole lot he can do, though. He can burn me, but that's just 20 damage for me to give to him. Alright, I am cured of the burn, which is nice. We like that. Alright, we'll go ahead and get a Psychic, or sorry, Dark Energy on you. Slap that on there, we'll put that on. And an Artisan for another monkey. Arven, why not? Let's take a Rigid Band. We don't need a Rigid Band. We can do the XP share. Just on the off chance that he can knock us out, we'll go Ultra Ball too. Let's get EXP share on this one. Cool. 180. So the Charizard can get a bunch of fire energies in play, which I can see what he's going for. Because he can just quickly power up a Kangaskhan, he can power up a Volcanion, he can power up the Hearth Flame, he can do a bunch of stuff with that. And then the Volcanion also can move energy when it attacks. So it's a very good way of just like, you know, moving it all around so he can have a bunch of different things powered up. So now that Charizard's ready to go, pretty solid. But this is pretty good for us in my opinion. Okay, so obviously we're gonna start off with the Adrena Brain. 30 damage goes to the Pidgey. Take a prize. I can Ultra Ball a couple of things away. I don't think I'm going to need Iono because he is bricking like nobody's business. Now, having another Blissey is nice too because I can just kind of start putting the energy on my next one. Let's go ahead and start chipping away at that Charizard because he's going to try to hit us with that next. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. And we can move that energy from this to this. Adrena Brain, we're just going to get a little bit more damage on. Do we survive now? Yeah, we do survive a hit from Charizard now. And then, you know what? Screw it. I want the Charizard. Give me the smoke. Give me the smoke. Okay. So now that Charizard can be taken out next turn with the Munkidoris, I am quite confident he doesn't have a way to knock me out. Yeah, he does 270, 360 damage. Still not enough for a KO on me. I bet that feels pretty bad. Alright. So we'll do this. We'll go ahead and knock it with our benched boys. Go ahead and happy switch that over to you. Take that out, and it doesn't really matter what he puts into the active. There's zero chance he gives me the Volcanion. Right? He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that, would you? You could just concede. No one would fault you for it. Unless he just left the game, which would also feel kind of bad. Oh man, what a demo of this deck's power. Look at that. 3 Blisseys and 3 Munkidoris. Just too strong. Any deck that has 3 Munkidoris in play that are energized is too strong. How do you even come back from that? Attempt number 5 at a game 3. And the reason why I couldn't use the other ones is because I keep going up against these Mickey Mouse decks, as one of my commenters have called it, which is very hurtful, by the way. But these, I don't know what's going on with the ladder today. It's been like the strangest jank decks. And it only happens when I'm trying to record, too, because I swear, when I'm not recording, I get Dragapult, Dragapult, Dragapult. But then I turn on that record button, and all they give me is... Last round I had a Chien-Pao, not Chien-Pao, it was Baxcalibur with Charizard. Now I've got Pinsir. What is this? You have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. This attack does 90 more damage. Okay. Alright, what do we got? Teal Mask, okay. I will keep this one in if the game is good. But the last couple of matches I had, I don't understand. Either somebody mentioned that they're flooding the ladder with bots, and I don't believe that that's what's happening, but it could be. And that makes me mad. Okay, so I think I just start with an Arven. I'm gonna want a Nest Ball, and I'm gonna want... Are both of my Turbo Energizes prized? That's crazy. Okay, both of my Turbo Energizes are prized. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give you that. Yeah, this would have been a good time to a lucky attachment, but that's okay. We're just gonna go with that. I know, we can still use abilities. Alright, so my best bet now is a Crispin. I'm gonna Ultra Ball for the Blissey and hope that I can grab a Crispin off the Pokégear. That would save me. Okay, Teal Dance, we got the Diplins going, we got the Festival lead. I'm curious as to whether this is Diplin or Hydrapple. I'm willing to bet probably it's just Festival lead. We'll see. Okay, this is fine. I don't mind losing the Iono and the Rigid Band. Grabbing this. Evolve it. Come on, Crispin. No Crispin. In that case, I don't want to lose either of these, so let's just go ahead and drop that. And then research. Throw that on there, and I think I am satisfied with that. Oh, it is Hydrapple, okay. What does he do? It's 30 damage for each grass energy attached to all Pokemon. So we've got 3, 4, 5 right now. That's 150 damage. That's 180 damage. Then we got the Iono. 6 new cards. Okay, there's the Crispin. Appreciate you showing up. Okay, so I think we can still work with this. Alright, we've got bug catching set, another Applin's coming in. Okay. So I say we start with an Ultra Ball. Let's go ahead and drop the Iono. Let's get another Blissey up. Attach that to the front. Let's go ahead and do I want an Arven or do I want a Boss? Let's see what we get. Neither. Okay. That's fine. We will take the Arven then. Let's go ahead and Nest Ball. An EXP share? Yep. Alright. Nest Ball, get us another monkey. And then we'll EXP share so that we can keep that energy if we lose this Blissey. And then we'll smack this guy, 180. Yeah, I'd like to draw cards, that'd be great. Okay. And there's a Crispin. Wow, anything that we needed to get energy is prized. I think both of my Turbo Energizes and the Crispin were prized. That's wild. Okay. I feel like I need a boss. I need to get these energies out of play. Would love nothing more to take out those Ogerpons. Oh, okay, we're going for the other Blissey. Alright, so that's what, one. Jeez. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. That is the way to do it. You need to be able to one-shot the Blisseys, because if you can't, then you're pretty much screwed. So I say we go ahead and Night Stretcher, the Chansey back. Need a boss. Alright, throw that on there. I think I need to just crispen for now. Put that there. Let's go ahead and get why don't I go ahead and start the process of getting... I don't have that either. No Cornerstone. This is wild. Alright. If I had the dude before, or what's it called? If I had the Roaring Moon before I attached, that probably would have been a smarter play. Alright, so basically everything that I needed is in my prizes. I had a Crispin, my 2 Turbo Energizes, and my Cornerstone Ogerpon are all in my prizes. So we'll see if he can get any more energy on the board. Yeah, I got the other Hydropple. He's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 energies in play. That's 270. With the max belt, we're looking at 320. Alright, Professor's Research can get you some more energy. Hopefully, maybe, for you. Alright, got another energy on the board. Bug catching gets you energy. Yep, that should do it. That should be enough. And 410, that's crazy. Okay. Alright, let's get the moon. Because I want to take at least a prize on this. Ugh, God. Nothing went right, guys. Yep, that's a concede. I don't think there's anything we can do here. I'm keeping that one though, because that should show you all that these Mickey Mouse decks can put up work. Alright, so I actually had a lot of fun playing this deck. It's very simple, but when it gets rolling, it becomes nigh unstoppable. But as we predicted, Oko decks are definitely a struggle. That Hydrapple didn't give us any damage to push off, and that player played it really smart. But that's all the time we have today. If you're still here, please consider subscribing. I have less than 50 subs to go to hit my goal of 1,000, and I would love it if we hit it this month. So if you enjoyed the content, I'd appreciate that a ton. Double thanks to my channel members, Ziv, Vanilla Magikarp, Shifu Stew, and Charles Maddox Bird for that extra level of support. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.